mentioned it. You can see it back there. 2 cards, 1 night, 1 price, 5 world title fights.
Can you hear me?
It's a historic night in boxing. For folks who may not understand why this is so significant, lay the groundwork.
I mean, look, it's unique. You get 2 twin brothers 1 minute apart, maybe as competitive with each other as they are with their prospective opponents in the Charlo brothers, knocking on that door of both becoming a household name commercially as well as critically. Now they get essentially the opportunity here to headline their own individual pay-per-view cards on the same night for the same price in the same building. A little bit of unique historical elements there.
We're going to be here for a while.
This isn't necessarily, Luke, just about the Charlo brothers and their night to shine and prove all that hype and all of those performances we've seen up to this point. They're both legitimately entering what you can call the toughest tests of their career up to this point at age 30.
Let's talk about them. So the first of 2 cards will be headlined by Jamal Charlo taking on Sergey Derevyanchenko. This will be at 160 pounds for Charlo's WBC middleweight title. Now, before we get to the actual matchup itself, I'm one of these guys, I'm the boxing head who's been like, you know what? Okay, Derevyanchenko gave Jacobs a good fight, but I thought Jacobs won. I thought Derevyanchenko beat Triple G, and certainly at age 34 against Charlo, this could be his last run at a title. He's got everything to gain, and time is not on his side.
That's a great point. That window is closing at 34. Derevyanchenko, a native of Ukraine, has an extensive amateur background. They call him the technician, right? But he's not necessarily just a pure boxer in that sense. He gets inside on you. He's got great footwork, and he lets his hands go.
So it's going to be a live
stream. The third time will have to be the charm for him. You have to wonder if he can get back to that title level, if he cannot win and capture Jamal Charlo's, WBC title. But as you mentioned, Luke, went to the split decision against Daniel Jacobs. Close, unanimous decision loss. You could have flipped the coin against Gennady Golovkin, really becoming only the second guy to back Golovkin up, a big power puncher, and hurt him. He is as much a championship fighter without the belt around his waist as we've seen in this division. So for him, it's certainly all or nothing. But on the flip side, for Jamal Charlo, a guy who won a title at 154 pounds, moved up to 160, maybe wasn't able to get the really big names due to, as we've seen at times, boxing's politricks, if you will, across the street, all those languages we like to use. This is his opportunity at really backing up everything he said, that he's the best middleweight, that his combination of speed, power, athleticism, explosiveness is on that level with the Jacobses, the Canelos, and have you, although a couple of those guys obviously have moved up in weight. This is that test. When Sergey Derevyanchenko gets inside of him, we're going to find out what Jamal Charlo is made of. And this could headline the card all on itself, right, Luke, but this is just one half of it.
I can't believe it's actually the first of 2 cards that we're going to see here. But okay, very quickly, toughest fight of Jamal Charlo's career?
Absolutely, without question, and he has looked sensational at 160 pounds. But this is the first time he's getting somebody in there with him, and the betting odds, it's very close, right? It has somebody who you're like, that's a guy with the experience, the toughness, the ability to box and brawl, all the things that he can bring to the table. We're going to find out if everything on Jamal Charlo is for real. The chin, the backbone, all of that on one night. Hey, Lions only, Luke, but there's going to be a couple hunters out there looking for those guys. That might make us a little bit of Joe Exotic right here.
Doing a lot of dad jokes early on today, but also his brother's going to be competing, headlining the second of the 2 cards. So, Jamal Charlo taking on Jason Rosario. This is a 154-pound, Jamal's previous division, title unification bout. Only the 8th time that's ever happened. The WBC champ is Charlo, the IBF, and I think the WBA champ is Jason Rosario. This one's the WBA champ is Jason Rosario. This one's a little bit different. Rosario was not expected to beat Julian Williams and then stopped him inside of 5 rounds. So here he finds himself on the precipice of something pretty incredible.
I was there.
What kind of fighter is Rosario? What is Jamal Charlo in for if he wants to get 2 more belts?
Well, you look at Jason Rosario, name that like you mentioned. We didn't really know up to that point in January when he went in there against J-Rock Williams. We thought that was going to be a stay busy fight. He's got that peculiar nickname of Banana, if you will, the banana, which really translates.
It's just banana.
It really translates to where he comes from in the Dominican Republic. You eat bananas, you get power. He's got an absolutely massive right hand. He's got the ability to get Jamal Charlo out of there if he makes a mistake. The key element to this fight, and while you're not really sure on saying, we know Jamal Charlo's in for the toughest test of his career. Is Jermell? I'm not sure. Tony Harrison was a tough fighter who Jamal Charlo just split fights against in a very fun rivalry. The thing about Jason Rosario, Luke, is at 25 years old, I don't think he knows how great he can be. We surely don't. We know Jamal Charlo doesn't. the proving ground is going to be inside that ring, inside the Mohegan Sun Arena in that bubble on Saturday night, because that upset earlier this year against J. Rock Williams was the first time, according to Rosario, his trainer, that he did a full training camp, a full big-time, big-boy training camp. This could be just the beginning of a flower, just broadening there. But hey, Jermell Charlo, one of the best in the business for a reason.
Certainly is, and avenging that loss to Tony Harrison, leaving no doubt in anyone's mind. The thing I sort of look at when I pay attention to Rosario is we called in the other Charlo brothers fight, the nickname for Derevyanchenko was the technician. I would not necessarily call Rosario that, but two things that make him kind of an interesting opponent. One, a heavy right hand, and number two, he will sometimes go a little bit too far with it, but it often has been the reason why he wins. He takes risks. He takes risks, and when you have an opponent that's willing to take risks, sometimes that can set them up for failure, and sometimes it can overwhelm opponents who are expecting sometimes guys to, well, they would never do something like that in a prize fight. No, yes, he will. He will absolutely fight you on the inside. He doesn't necessarily work behind the jab. To what extent is him willing to just be willing to bite down on the mouthpiece and go make him something of a trickier opponent?
Oh, it's dangerous. You don't know what to expect from him. I mentioned I'm not sure he even does, and I really believe that. And I talked to him in the build-up to this fight, and he says, look, I can box if I have to, if my opponent makes me. But I want to go to war. I want to bang. I want to throw, as he calls, that big banana. He knows, he believes if he is able to connect with that big banana to Charlo, the fight could be over. The night could end at that point. This is a wild card fighter in that sense, where we don't have a large background of big-time fights at this level to really know how great he is. And that's why this is as tough a test for Jermell, certainly, as Sergey Derevyanchenko is expected to provide for his older brother.
Now, we'll have more time to get into it a little bit later. We mentioned 5 title fights. So all 3 on the first card, title fights. 2 of the 3 on the second title fight, although the one that's not a title fight might be better than the other one.
Two former champions coming together.
Very quickly, your favorite fight, not counting the 2 Charlo brothers, on either of the 2 cards.
Look, I mean, if Ricky Martin was writing the theme song, a soundtrack for this, he bangs. A lot of people on this card bang. I love what I'm going to see in that 118-pound title bout when the Filipino John Riel Casimero goes in there against Ghana's Duke Micah. Great names there. Even more fun styles in the ring. A lot at stake with the title on the line. Micah unbeaten. I mean, you can have your pick. You like Brandon Figueroa, you like Luis Neri. There's a lot of fun names. The 118 and the 122-pound divisions will be on display on this undercard. 6 championship-level fights. It's going to be fun.
All right, I believe we are ready to move along. So let's do that. Actually, we have a little bit more time. You mentioned that. We have a lot of... you know what I like about this card? We have something like... everyone at every stage of the super bantamweights, sort of where you could be, haven't had a chance to really show yet, shown a little bit, established, want to keep that place. Maybe you've shown something previously and you're trying to recapture that, and you've got heavy hitters, young guys, kind of veterans. What does it say about the 122-pound division that you can do this all even on one card?
It says how much fun it is. Look, this is the division that through the years hasn't in the States been a real sexy money division. You haven't had a lot of American fighters in there. That has changed. Most of these fighters right now operating under the PBC banner. You can see them on Showtime. You can start to build the matchups and almost have an unofficial bracket and tell stories. We're going to have Brandon Figueroa going in there defending his title against Damian Vasquez. We're going to have Luis Neri, the big puncher from Mexico, moving up into this weight class. Maybe they'll fight each other down the road in a unification if they win there. There's the beginning. You know what you're building to now for the winners, and that's fun to see.
Okay, I think we're ready now, if I'm not mistaken. So let's do it. Brian Custer is waiting to get this whole thing started. Let's go to him now.
I'm getting close.
Well, welcome, everybody.
This man got a fire-ass podcast.
This official press conference for what will be a spectacular and certainly a unique double main pay-per-view event. It's going to come your way Saturday. Showtime pay-per-view is bringing you, in essence, 2 3-fight cards. So you're going to see a total of 6 fights on Saturday night. Meaningful fights.
Right, just keep it full screen,
fights that have high stakes attached to them. And out of those 6 fights, 5 of them world title fights, with each main event being headlined by one of the Charlo brothers, as they will be defending their WBC world titles. Again, a special time, too. So get to your TV, get to your device early. We're going to kick things off at 7 p.m. Eastern. That is 4 o'clock Pacific time. And, of course, Jermell Charlo taking on Sergey Derevyanchenko, the #1 ranked contender. They will headline the first 3 fights. And then we will have a short 30-minute intermission. It will, of course, be hosted by my colleagues, who you just saw from Mortal Kombat, Brian Campbell and Luke Thomas. And then followed by another 3-fight card headlined by Rosario Charlo as he defends his title, taking on the unified champ, Jason Rosario. A unification fight at 154 pounds.
So remember, they're doing 2 different press conferences.
Will be on the line
be here like
for that main event.
Man.
You're probably wondering, how can I get it? Well, you can get it.
For you, the people.
And for you, if you're new school, you're into streaming, we got you covered. Because you can purchase the fight right now. You can do it on the Showtime app. You can do it on your smart TV.
Like
you
this
can
new
do it
interface
on
they using,
Apple TV, your iOS devices, nice, like with the FireTV, the Android mobile, your Android TV, Chromecast, Xbox, Roku, whatever you want, whatever way you want to stream, we got you covered. You can order it there. Or if you're old school like myself, you can just go right through your cable provider, your satellite pay-per-view provider, or you can just do it online at Showtime.com. Before we talk to some of the fighters, certainly want to acknowledge some of the people who helped us bring this event to fruition. Let me start with the president, of course, of sports and entertainment here at Mohegan Sun, Tom Cantone. Thank you very much for all that you've done to help us put this together. Thank you very much. Mike Mazzulli. Of course, he's the director of athletics and regulations here in the state of Connecticut. Thank you. And, a Hall of Famer, a guy who was a tremendous matchmaker. He's been doing a phenomenal job now as a promoter. Tom Brown.
It's smooth, and of course, his team
from TGB Promotions.
You don't use
but
this
one
for
guy who certainly spearheaded this,
I don't think.
It was his unique idea to come together and say, hey, let's make this a unique doubleheader pay-per-view event. He is the president and general manager of Showtime Sports, my man, Steven Espinoza.
Yo, did y'all hear that Lubin versus Goucher did like 150,000 views or some shit?
Thank you, Brian.
What the fuck? Ew.
These are unprecedented times. We've heard that so often that it's become a cliche, but it still remains true. What we used to take for granted, what used to be simple, is now a lot more difficult, a lot more complicated. Boxing has adjusted. But this Saturday will be a new experience. This is the first post-pandemic big pay-per-view here in the U.S. It's different, it's challenging, it's difficult. And I'd first like to acknowledge all of the fighters and their camps for cooperating with us, complying with the protocols, for meeting this challenge. It would have been easy for these guys to say, you know what, we'll wait until it opens up and things are easier to deal with and we're not in lockdown. That's not what they did. To a man, each one of them said, nope, we'll take the challenge. Whatever it takes, we want to get in the ring.
Yeah,
we want to bring the sport back. We want the sport to have big fights.
7 p.m.
And that's what we have Saturday night. The fans have spoken and we listened. Fans wanted the best,
1 a.m. UK
fighting
time?
the best.
Something like that?
Well, we've got that. We've got the number 1 and number 2 fighters at 154
I knew that fight was going to stink it up, though.
We've got the number 1 and number 2 fighters at 160 pounds. You wanted a high-quality undercard? Well, that's done. We got 3 of 4 undercard fights for world titles, and the 4th is a title eliminator. More value for your money? Well, without question, this is not just the biggest pay-per-view card of the year, but certainly the most value.
By the way, this new
I've worked in the
program
sport of boxing for
I'm on like a 40-second
20 years now.
Or some shit.
I've never been involved with a card that has this level of quality, that has this level of star power. Headlining, of course, are the Charlos. We are proud that they are returning home here to Showtime. They came of age on Showtime. Jamal has made 10 appearances. This will be his 11th on Showtime. He started on ShowBox, graduated to Extreme, and has been on Championship Boxing 7 times. Jamel, for his part, this will be his 13th appearance. He also started on ShowBox. We also have 2 other ShowBox alumni on the card. Derevyanchenko and Daniel Roman also fought on ShowBox, and we're proud at the role that Showtime has played in all of their careers.
Come on, Steven, and wrap it up.
These main events speak for themselves.
All on papers and shit.
But when you have a card with champions like Danny Roman,
I like him,
Luis Neri, Brandon Figueroa, or former unified champion Danny Roman. Fan favorites, action fights. This is the Fight Fans fight card. Top to bottom, can't miss, action guaranteed. We will see you all on Saturday night.
Thank God, man. Steven, cool guy and everything, but fucking papers and shit. So yeah, I'm gonna be here tomorrow for the weigh-in. No, wait, that's not tomorrow. Fucking
Steven,
Chavez
thank you.
Jr.
Without a doubt,
we got a lot to talk about after this.
The
press
sport's
conference.
best friend and the things that he has put on. Let's talk about these fights, and you see.
We're also going to
the first fight card that you'll see on this Showtime pay-per-view comes Saturday night,
which is like 9
and
minutes.
We're going to start with the first fight of the evening, and this is a good one at 118 pounds. You've got John Riel Casimero, who will be defending his WBO bantamweight title against the Olympian, the unbeaten Duke Micah. Phenomenal fight here, and John, let me start with you. First fight for you in the USA. What do you think fight fans are going to be saying after they see you Saturday night?
I'm a first time to show all world, and this is it. I will do my best this fight.
You're known for being a power puncher.
Yeah.
What do you have to do to be victorious come Saturday night?
I will go fight, because I'm ready, so very ready this fight.
Duke?
Yes, sir.
John's known for his power. What do you have to do Saturday night to take that title away?
This fight will be like Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali, I'm going to use my mind.
Wait, I saw this dude fight before, didn't I?
Because I know he's a good boxer.
Wasn't he on the zone?
And also he can punch, and he's good. That's what we want. That's what the fans want to see. Fight best, fight the best. So I don't care about what he is bringing. I don't know what his title. I'm coming there to fight, to show the world I'm number one. After that, I'm going to the history book. And when I die, they call my name, former world champion. So you should be ready. We're going there to fight.
Go ahead. Talk
That's
going to
be the first fight
Talk
of the night. Then we get to the co-main. And we got
link to buy the pay-per-view is below in the description box, along with all the other information.
You got Brandon Figueroa. He'll be defending his WBA super bantamweight title against Damian Vasquez. Of course, this fight at 122 pounds. We know what Damian brings, the family lineage. Champ, let me start with you. You've got the height, certainly got the reach advantage in this fight. He says it's going to be a war. Your father trained you. He said he doesn't see this fight going past 6 rounds. What do you say?
Well, I prepared myself ready for this fight. I'm excited to be back to do what I love to do best, which is fight. And
I like this kid now.
I feel like this fight won't last, especially because I had a good training camp.
No homo.
And I just keep getting better and stronger as time goes by, and I'm ready to showcase that Saturday night.
Damian, I certainly got to get your response to it, because you said you wanted to get on the inside of this guy and pound away at his body, make it a war. He says it won't go past 6. What do you say?
If he says it's not going to go past 6, I guess he's going to have to fucking work hard for it. Because I want to make sure, it's going to be a fucking all-out war. And, nothing against the Charlo twins, but I want to be the fight of the night.
Hell yeah, I want to cuss too.
So, may the best man win, to be honest. And which is going to be me, so, that's plain and simple.
That's the co-main of the evening. And so now we get to the main event. Rosario Charlo, the WBC middleweight champion, will be making his 3rd defense of his title, taking on the number 1 contender, and Sergey Derevyanchenko. Champ, Canelo, Triple G, generally, when people talk about 160 pounds, they say those guys, top 2 guys in the division. Does that and will that change come Saturday night after they see you fight?
I'm the best in the world, and Saturday you guys get a chance to see it.
Sergey, you certainly fought for the world title a couple of times.
No, in the comments of my videos, like on Figueroa.
Why will this time
why you always
different?
so concerned about
why
his
will you be
looks?
victorious come Saturday?
I was like, cuz, man, you're a motherfucking boxer doing your eyebrows and shit.
And you know what? The green color of the belt suit me.
What the fuck did he just say?
Mo? He says green fits him. In other words, he's walking home victorious. Your response to that? And what do you think the world will be saying about the Charlo twins after watching both of you fight come Saturday night?
This is just the beginning. 30 of them tried, 30 of them failed. We'll get a chance to get in there and do what we got to do on Saturday. Talk is cheap. Rich mind frame. We'll see where the green belt go.
Oh, shit.
Sergey, I'll give you the last word here. He says 30 have tried to beat him. None of them has succeeded. Tell us again why you will.
Maybe I'm just
because I
no.
want belt green, and I'm 2-time fight for belt, and now is third my 5, and I want win. I'm ready.
That will be the main event of the night. Come Saturday on Showtime pay-per-view.
Remember, it's
I know
another
that
press
there
conference
are
after
a number
this.
of media members who've got some questions for these guys. Chris de Blasio, our Vice President of Communications, will handle that and make sure, acknowledge you so your questions can be asked.
Thank you, Brian. First question comes from Keith Heidick with Boxing Scene. Keith?
My first question is for Sergey. Sergey, how much did it help for you to have a long break after the Golovkin fight, because that fight was such a hard fight?
How it helped me?
How did it help you to have such a long time off since the Golovkin fight for you to feel better?
I'm good rest. I'm good rest. I'm relaxed, and when I come back United States, I want his training.
You're low
I want to fight, and he helped me.
How does Jamal compare? I know he fights differently, but in your opinion, how does he compare to Gennady Golovkin and Daniel Jacobs in terms of how good of an opponent he is?
Gennady Golovkin and Daniel Jacobs is tough fight, and this my fight is a close fight, and I think it's helped me.
Okay, there you go.
Jamal, what did you take from the Jacobs fight when he fought? I know you don't fight exactly the way Jacobs does, but what did you see in that fight, without giving away your game plan, that you liked?
He's looking past me.
He is?
He's looking past me. His trainer, him, his whole camp, they're looking past me. They'll find out Saturday.
Oh, he is mad. You know, he cutting weight, so he real angry.
Okay, thanks, Keith. We have a question here from Zoom. Matt Young is first. Matt, if you can unmute yourself and ask your question, go ahead.
You got to throw them off and ask them what they want to eat. After the weigh-in, they get to their heart.
Big card.
They'll be like, wow, he really cares.
Pay-per-view. Let me be your career headline of pay-per-view.
Matt, stand by 1 second.
Oh, shit. I should have fucking joined. My bad, y'all. I'm slipping. I could have fucking been on the joint. But I ain't feel like it. Shit.
Okay, Matt, go ahead one more time, please.
Come on, man.
You have to unmute and go ahead.
Together.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead, Matt, and I'll relay the question.
So what's going on with you guys, man? We got another
Matt, go ahead.
Jamel press conference. Just hang up on Matt. Hang up on him.
Okay, Brian, back to you. Technical difficulty with the
question. Yeah, hang up on him. So what's going on with you guys, man?
Folks, that will be the first.
Can you hear me?
Let's try it, Chris. Try it.
Okay, go ahead, Matt. We can hear you.
What's that?
No.
Clusterfuck, man.
All right, thanks for your patience, guys.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we hear you now, Matt. Go ahead. It's
Just hang up on Matt.
Okay. Okay, we have your feed in, Matt. Just a little technical difficulty on your end. Give one more try, and if not, we'll move on.
Who is Matt? What Matt they talking about? What Matt is that? Do I know that Matt? Do we know that Matt? Oh, my bad. Wait, I'm not doing nothing.
We're going to move on.
Shut up.
Go ahead, Brian.
Got it. Thank you. Let's get the main event. These guys to face off. Jermall Charlo and Sergey Derevyanchenko.
Thank you.
Tell me to shut up on my own damn show. Don't make me start the cussing. I'm dieting too. Been dieting for like 2 weeks. I'm irritable myself. Can't have no cheeseburger. Can't have no potato chips. Can't have no motherfucking Mountain Dew. I am down 11 pounds.
Luke, we've seen the main event participant stand up. Jermall Charlo, Sergey Derevyanchenko, the WBC middleweight title at stake. How about that stone cold look from Jermall out there?
You know what's amazing? He's got a bit of a, and let me explain this very quickly but clearly. He's got a bit of a victim complex, but not in the kind of woe is me way, the kind of I'm going to show you who I am kind of way, which is the best kind actually to have.
That mask is now
Derevyanchenko, you know, it's hard to trash talk in a second language, and he does all his talking in the ring anyway. I got to say, though, and I know it's protocol, you got to do it, the commission makes you do it. Face-offs in a COVID era, not quite the same.
Yeah, they're just standing there.
Jermall Charlo, the WBC champion at 154 pounds. There's the unified champion, Jason Rosario. That's going to be the main event.
Oh, I see how
Luis Neri, Aaron Alameda.
Then they switch out.
They'll be fighting for the WBC Super Bantamweight title. And, of course, Danny Roman and Juan Carlos Payano.
Well, how about somebody put that fucking Mike Sanders guy on motherfucking timeout? Motherfucker, go watch the motherfucking shit on the Showtime page then, nigga. Somebody put that motherfucker on timeout. Motherfucker. See, got me cussing. I'm sorry for the people that are like watching.
5 world title fights coming your way, folks, on Showtime pay-per-view come Saturday night. In all, 6 fights, all at high stakes. Gentlemen, thank you very much. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a very...
Just going to get a couple more here with our main event fighters.
Okay.
Yep. Thanks, Ryan.
All 12.
Let's get Jermall
of the fighters
and Jason come down
on Saturday night's pay-per-view card, posing on the stage. Look, there's a little bit of
the
throwback feel for this card from the standpoint that you don't have to set your timer to be ready for the co-main or the main event. This is all killer, no filler. You're seeing some hungry gentlemen up on the stage for this card.
Yeah, again,
also, here's a key.
For some people, I think it drives them a little bit crazy in the worst way. I love the chip on the shoulder that the Charlo brothers have. I actually feel like that's what makes them...
Basically, I'm allowed to
I don't know if they're right. I don't know if it's going to be Derevyanchenko. I don't know if it's going to be Rosario. But I know that they want to kind of stick it to everybody for being overlooked is a strong word, but maybe not put on the same pedestal as some of their contemporaries. And I love it.
For Jermall Charlo to say he believes Sergey Derevyanchenko is looking past him, I had to translate that maybe as he believes Derevyanchenko 2 times to the throne, attempting to get the title coming up just so short, might be looking through him at getting that world title than maybe focusing as much in Jermall's eyes at the absolute challenge in front of him. For Derevyanchenko, you could make that same argument on the flip side that this could be the toughest challenge of his career.
Know Chavez
because we
Jr.?
still don't know exactly who Jermall Charlo is at this level.
I mean, the way I translated it was
Friday night on the
this
zone.
is Charlo saying this guy has the audacity to take a fight with me,
Chavez
and he has the audacity not really to collect a paycheck.
Arce
he has
on
the
card
audacity
too.
to think he can win. Well, for those crimes, and I'm putting up air quotes here, we're going to make him pay. Look, these guys are always, you know this. You've been in the fight game as long as I have. These guys are going to tell themselves whatever they need to do to get themselves in the particular mind frame that gets the best out of themselves. If inventing some kind of slight is the best way for him to get the best out of himself, I say the more the merrier. Fine.
Well, both brothers, through their lines-only branding, they've established this persona of being brash, unapologetic.
Do you have a Louis Vuitton mask, BC?
I don't have that in my cupboard of protective masks.
You didn't put that in your Showtime rider?
But you gotta love the passion from the brothers at all times.
She one of them women.
Tell me if I'm wrong here. Almost this underlying statement that as much as they are competing against their opponents on Saturday night, they're competing against each other from the standpoint of which Charlo brother has the shot at closing the show and stealing the show better.
And there's something we'll talk about after the presser for just a little bit, but I also wonder, one, to what extent COVID affected, not just, they didn't get it, but I mean the training environment, but more than that, these guys have fought 7 times previously on the same card, and they all won. There was one time where they fought, and they fought for world titles. This will be the second time for that. My point being is, they've never lost together. And I'm not predicting a loss per se for Charlo against Derevyanchenko, but what if? What if it happens?
It took me
now,
3 years.
How does that affect
3 years?
The second Charlo brother, this is Jermel.
Actually get
I think it's a fascinating question. Twins being so close. I mean, they dress their hair the same. They obviously look the same, being the twins that they are. But they have this real bonded identity. What happens if something goes away in the first time out? Does it undo the second one, or does it propel him to further greatness? I think it's going to be a really interesting test.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of that when they headlined in 2018 a nationally televised card in Brooklyn, New York. They famously flipped a coin to see who would go on last, and that's when we, of course, saw Jermel Charlo lose his title by upset to Tony Harrison in a very close decision. And Jermel had said after the fact that sort of rattled him on the way to the ring, seeing his brother take his first loss. He had that very close fight with Matt Korobov. The stakes are certainly much higher this time around on the pay-per-view level. How comfortable and ready do you think the Charlos are for what outside the ring the opportunity in the platform of pay-per-view brings them? They're 30 years old. Yes, they've been knocking on that sort of pound-for-pound top 10 door, but what about commercially?
That's like
I think state mandate. I mean, this is sort of what they want. They want the acclaim and the accolades from the boxing press. They want them to say that they're the best. When it comes to endorsements, they want to have them all. They have many of the same aspirations that any young prize fighter might, but the point you made is pretty clear. They're 30 years old.
Every month.
They're now, I think this is the first time headlining on pay-per-view. It's a huge pay-per-view to be headlining on. It's one of those moments where if they're going to cross over into that next level, it starts on Saturday, and it has to start on Saturday. This is where that process of the transcendental boxing icon, where if you're a Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua, and even there's other ones outside the heavyweight division, right? Canelo, for example. If you want that level of paycheck and stardom and opponent and acclaim, you got to get the business done here. You can build upon something, and so I think they're chomping. Frankly, not only are they ready for it, I think they're chomping at the bit for it. And the fact that they don't quite have it just yet has made them a little bit, on edge.
You need a dynamic personality to become a pay-per-view star, to become a household name. They have that, but it really doesn't ever hit home and stay unless you win the defining fights.
The way you ask that question leads me to wonder, do you think they're ready? It sounds like you think that they might not be.
No, I believe they're ready. I believe they've been ready since they turned pro, okay. A little bit less than a year apart in 2007 and 2008. The chip on the shoulder, the drive, the want to be great. And like we mentioned, we've seen Jermel come back from that close loss to Tony Harrison, get the knockout in the rematch. You got to earn it in the ring. You may be able to sell it in front of the cameras and get people to look at you, but they're not going to keep coming back and paying for you unless you deliver. They're going to get that opportunity. How about the second main event, though? When we get Jermel Charlo, Jason Rosario, 3 of the 4 junior middleweight titles at stake. How hot is 154 pounds right now?
It's amazing. This is one of those things where it's a bit of a soft spot for me. I am from Washington, D.C., so Jarrett Hurd loses in a way he was not supposed to J-Rock. Then J-Rock in his first double title defense, essentially, loses to Rosario. So Rosario finds himself here against Charlo. It's one of these divisions where, this is what I mentioned before when we started at the top of the show. It's like, do I think that Rosario is the technician that I don't pick your favorite technician in this division or any other? I don't think that that's exactly what his calling card is. But the dude's got guts, and as I said in Stripes, guts is enough, man. It is truly enough, especially when you got a powerful right hand. And so I'm very, very curious to see if he can just sort of rattle Charlo a little bit, who is, I think, very skilled, very athletic, very powerful, although the bigger brother of the two, obviously the more powerful one, I would argue. But still, nevertheless, such an interesting division, and a lot of different ways you can go with this one. Frankly, if either guy usually unifies the titles.
We know that Erickson Lubin, who won last week on Showtime against Terrell Gaucher,
he wants a crack.
Became the mandatory for the WBC title that Jermel Charlo currently owns. pounds, but you look at this division, former champions galore, Jared Hurd, Julian Williams, Arislandi Lara, you got Tony Harrison, you got the great contenders like a Brian Castano. There's going to be no shortage of great fights to make after this point. But what's interesting is Rosario's coming in as almost, in some ways, if you count the hardware, the more accomplished fighters coming in with 2 belts, right? The winner's going to have 3 or 4 titles. Winner is going to sort of be in control in the pole position at super welterweight. Yet Rosario's carrying that sort of upset-minded underdog mentality. Maybe it's because he wasn't supposed to beat J-Rock, and now he's in this spot. But how dangerous do you think that is for Jermell when you're facing off against a guy who, like I mentioned, he may be the champ with 2 titles, but he almost has nothing to lose here?
Right. It's sort of, he was never supposed to be here. And now he's here with not 1 but 2 of those belts, and off that momentum from the J-Rock win, which, by the way, it was I thought J-Rock was winning basically the majority of the rounds up until he essentially wasn't.
Yeah, UFC
what kind of gets me is, you know this as well as I do, Brian, you covering the fight game.
UFC
when you get a guy as young as Banana, which I'm going to say because I can say it in Spanish with an accent.
Come on, cater yourself.
You have a UFC press conference,
but it would be the point is this: when you're 25 years of age, I mean the Charlos are 30, right? I'm not saying they can't change tactics or strategies and get better. They can, but when you're 25, you're better fight over fight. And now you're just in this athletic development stage where you can really begin to put things together in dramatic turns. You add to that the thing you alluded to, the belts on his shoulders.
Hardcore
finally getting some momentum in his career. He's on a main event on pay-per-view after the pandemic and a doubleheader. These are all probably signs to him. It's like, you know what? I do belong here. I want to stick it to you. So I think that it's really going to be his drive and his will to win. Something that I don't think you could overlook.
It's the proliferated belts era, but fans have to be lucky right now that the majority of the fighters at 154, the contenders, the ones that matter, are under the PBC banner. We're going to see him Saturday night. One of maybe the biggest one you can make. Let's go back up to the stage to Brian Custer. Let's hear from the fighters in the second of the 2 pay-per-view cards on Saturday night.
All these fighters command a lot of money. They can't be on the same
Brian, Luke, thank you very much again. On Saturday night, after you see the first 3 fights of the night, you'll see Brian and Luke in Mortal Kombat. They'll review what happened in the first 3 fights, and then they will preview what we're about to see now, the last 3 fights of the evening. And, of course, it's capped off in the main event with Rosario Charlo taking on Jason Rosario. Unification fight at 154 pounds. And these fights, especially these 3, very meaningful fights. In fact, the first one, high stakes on the line. Danny Roman, the former unified champion, taking on another former champion.
What do you think the X's are for?
Carlos Payano. This, a WBC Super Bantamweight title eliminator.
Is that 5
and Danny, champions? Let me start with you because you were quoted as saying you anticipate this is going to be an explosive fight and one that you don't believe will go the distance. Tell us why.
Yes, sir. Just coming off from losing the titles, I mean, that made me even more hungrier than what I was before. I'm going against a quality fighter like Payano, and I mean, how I am right now, how I got ready, I don't think it's going to end up going to distance.
What's that mustache called? Isn't that called like a dirty Sanchez?
Felix De Jesus.
Ooh, that's not big.
Will do the interpretation for us. Mi hermano. If you could ask Juan, Danny doesn't anticipate the fight going the distance.
Either way, I like the mustache.
But you're moving up 4 pounds.
I had handlebars
here to 122
earlier this summer.
Will you carry your power with you into this fight, into this weight division?
Bueno, yo aquí no vine a hablar mucho, solo vine a hacer mi trabajo el sábado por la noche y se verán los resultados. Esperemos que vean, disfruten de un buen espectáculo este sábado y hablaremos el sábado.
I didn't come to talk too much at this press conference. People will see the results this Saturday. I'm ready, and the power will come.
It's the first fight of the night, folks, that you'll see. And then we go to the co-main. Luis Neri, Aaron Alameda. And this is going to be a phenomenal fight as well. I mean, anyone who has seen Luis Neri fight knows that he can bang. He comes after it. Aaron Alameda, unbeaten. Making his U.S. debut. Luis, we'll start with you. Do you believe
I had handlebars and I did a photo shoot.
Will be the difference in this fight?
Luis, ¿tú piensas que tu poder será la diferencia en esta pelea?
Mi poder y mi técnica arriba del ring pienso que me va a sacar adelante, además de mi preparación.
Not only my technique, my strength will also play a part of it, and it's going to have me win this fight.
Aaron, first time for you fighting here in the States. First time really fighting someone on the level of Luis Neri. What do you think boxing fans will say about Aaron Alameda after watching you fight Saturday night?
Primera vez que va a pelear en Estados Unidos, Aaron, contra un oponente tan fuerte como Luis Neri. ¿Qué van a decir la gente después de la pelea de Aaron Almeida?
Pues van a conocer a quién es Aaron Alameda.
They're going to know who Aaron Alameda is after the fight.
That's the co-main. And now we come to the main event. Unification fight at 154 pounds. We're fighting for supremacy of the division. The WBC, the IBF, the WBA belts all on the line. Jermell Charlo, unbeaten, taking on Banana, Jason Rosario. Mel, do you believe Saturday night is the beginning of legacy signature fights for Jermell Charlo?
Well, Saturday night is going to be my history-making phenomenon that I'm going to put on. This is something that I've always wanted for. This is something that we've been training for. All of these fights that I put in, and now is the time. Now is the time. It's major.
Jason, how much are you looking forward to proving to the boxing landscape that victory over J-Rock was no fluke and that you're the top dog at 154?
That ain't doing no
Jason, qué ansioso está de enseñarle al público de boxeo que esa pelea frente a J-Rock no fue de casualidad.
Oh shit, Banana Hollywood now.
En esta división.
Realmente, primeramente gracias a Dios, estoy esperando el tiempo. Realmente el tiempo va a llegar, faltan 3 días. No tengo ese desespero ni esas ansias de que la gente sepa antes del tiempo. Realmente el 26 la gente se va a dar cuenta que no fue coincidencia, no fue suerte, ni fue una noche buena.
First of all, I want to thank God. The second thing is I'm not anxious, I'm not desperate. I know there's 3 days till the fight. I'm ready. I prepared, and people are going to know that day that it wasn't a coincidence that I beat J-Rock the way I did.
Mel, I'll ask you the same question I asked your brother. At the end of the night, Saturday,
Fury 1 did like 385.
What do you think people will be saying about the Charlo brothers?
Or was it 315? I forgot.
They can't wait to see the Charlos fight again. That's going to be the main thing. You know, we come to fight. We prepare well all our life. We challenge all our life, and now is this time. So the big dogs are here. We're here to stay. We've been here. We're veterans in the game. We're smart individuals that love this. We love this sport. We've been doing it our whole life since we were younger. And to make it to this stage is now, nothing bigger than that. This is the Super Bowl for us. This the championship. This the national, everything. This is the boxing Super Bowl. This is the boxing. Go get your belts.
Jason, we'll wrap it up with you. You said this will be a war Saturday night. Tell us why.
Jason, vamos a terminar contigo. Tú dijiste que esto va a ser una guerra cuando venga el sábado.
Literalmente, eso es lo que va a ser. Yo lo que soy es un guerrero. Sé pelear, voy a venir a pelear y voy a buscar la forma de ganar.
Literally, it's going to be a war. I'm a warrior. I'm going to find a way to win on Saturday night.
Mel, any last words?
Lions only for life.
That's the main event that you will see in the last fight of the night come Saturday. I know that we have questions from members of the press. Chris de Blasio.
Thank you, Brian. We're going to start
jackass up there
with
said
our
they
Zoom.
didn't come to
We're going to
answer
ask
no
Mark
questions or
Wicker to
call.
unmute yourself, Mark, and go ahead.
Danny, you've had a lot of wars in your last few fights, and everybody admires the way you go about your business. But are you trying to find ways to win these fights without paying such a price?
that's my style. You know, I try to bring the best of me and try to make my fight the fight of the night. I know I'm among champions and great fighters, quality fighters, but you know, like always, I'm gonna try to steal the show. But you know, we're gonna do what's possible for me to win.
How did you know, when you look back on that last fight, a fight that you and some of your people felt that you did win, what types of things do you take from that?
Oh, yeah, first of all, you know, it was a close fight. You know, I believe I won that fight. You know, to be the champion, you gotta like be convincing. You gotta make sure you beat the champion, knock him out, or, you know, make it convincing. I believe I won that fight, you know, and, you know, we gotta move past that and now, like, see who's in front of me, and right now in front of me is Bayano.
Are you having as I just cut my I won't say easy, but are you having as trouble-free a way of making the weight these days as you always have?
No. I mean, I always been on weight. I'm still eating right now, and I think I'll be eating by the day before the weigh-in. So it's all good. I don't struggle with the weight, and I even believe with a good diet, I might be able to go down to 118.
Don't talk that
Thanks a lot,
bro.
Danny. Appreciate it.
You don't want no problems down there with the monster.
We're going to stick with Zoom here and ask Carlos Toro. Unmute yourself and go ahead.
Oh, Carl's always loud.
Everybody, thanks so much for taking time to talk to us. Really appreciate it. You know, Jason, obviously in the fight against J-Rock, you were the underdog. And in this fight, in some regards, a lot of people still consider you the underdog. But do you feel more pressure now that you're a unified champion heading into this fight compared to when you were fighting J-Rock?
Jason, tú no eras el favorito en la pelea de J-Rock y tampoco él es el favorito ahora frente a Charlo, pero ahora que tiene los títulos, ¿siente mucho más presión de mantenerlos?
No presión, sino una obligación realmente, primeramente con mi familia y con toda Latinoamérica. Realmente en mi mente no existe espacio para el si soy o no soy favorito. Realmente en mi mente está el espacio de ir a pelear, ir y ganar.
Yeah, no, I don't feel any pressure. It's an obligation, not only for my family, but also for all Latin America to win this title. And there's no room in my mind to say if I am or I'm not going to win. That's pretty clear what I want to do on Saturday night.
Jermell, you know, you've mentioned this kind of being like a Super Bowl type of event for you, and this, you know, like a championship fight for, as in any other sport. It does feel like you are more excited for this fight than any of your previous fights. Is it fair to say? And how excited are you to sort of get a chance to sort of showcase yourself and prove that you are the #1 fighter in the division if you do win out on Saturday?
I mean, just bringing out this stage and bringing out everything makes you, you know, you make you buckle in a lot better, and that's what happened, you know. And I feel like I'm, you know, 30 years old, and I'm to a point where I want to test myself and keep testing my limits and keep testing, and I'm winning, and that got me to the stage where I'm at right now. And that's why I feel confidence in my fight. I feel confidence in my skills. I'm going to bring tricks out the hat. I'm going to beat Rosario Charlo and do some things that I love to do and want to do.
Do you expect this fight to go the distance?
I don't predict the fight. I'm the fighter. I don't make predictions. That's for you media people.
Jason, do you believe this fight will go the distance?
Jason, ¿tú crees que esta pelea va a la distancia?
Estoy preparado para la distancia y tengo la estamina para terminarla rápido.
I'm prepared. If it goes the distance, it goes the distance. But I'm prepared and the stamina to finish it early.
Thanks, everyone. Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you, Carlos. Let's go to Jeremy Herridges, fan-sided. Jeremy, unmute. Go ahead.
Hey, Jermell. Obviously, this is a big fight for you inside the ring, but I'm curious, what would you like this fight to do for your brand, Lions Only, and your promotional company? How would you like to see this event help it grow?
I just wanted to bring a bigger platform for us and anybody that represents Lions Only. It's not about the brand, it's about the fighters at this moment, because that's what we're fighting for. And it's about my legacy and my career. Just want to solidify the victory so people can understand what the Charlo's really, why we did this our whole life and what we're made out of. And this is a part of it. You got a tough fighter. He's going to come fight. He's a warrior. He got all of these things and attributes. So styles make fights, and this is why we're here.
Talking about the styles and how you see this thing playing out, Obviously, he's known for having some power, and so are you. Would you prefer to see this as a more of a brawling style, or would you prefer to see it as more of a surgical boxing match?
A clinic. We're going to put on the show.
Thank you, Jermell, and best of luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, Jeremy, thanks. Last question is going to come from Keith Eidick, boxing.
So your pay-per-view, Charlo's. Shit.
My first question is for Luis Neri. Luis, what do you think of the level of opposition that Aaron Alameda has fought so far, and how big of a step up do you feel that you are for him?
Luis, ¿qué piensas de los peleadores que ha peleado Alameda, si están al nivel de lo que tú has peleado, y cuál es su nivel?
No, absolutamente no. Son peleadores que todavía no están a este nivel. Son peleadores medio bajos. Entonces, creo que es la primera vez que Aaron Alameda va a pelear a un nivel alto. Vamos a ver qué pasa el sábado.
No, definitely. The level of fighter that Alameda has fought is definitely at a low level. And now he's fighting on Saturday somebody that he's never fought before at this level, at my level, on Saturday night.
My next question is for Jamal. Jamal, how does it, I know
shit.
you and your brother have obviously fought on shows together before. Having him in such a huge fight on the same card, how does that make Saturday night for you while you're preparing for your own fight?
It's energy, I feed off our energy no matter what, like another guy asks about confidence. It's not about confidence, just happy within myself, I'm just happy as hell. This is just who I am, but I mean, my facial expressions and who we've been through, I guess, don't allow y'all to really see the happiness that what glows on the inside. But then fight night, that's when you see, all the excitement and all of the hard work, it pours out. And so having my brother on the main event pay-per-view, this is amazing. This is huge for us. And he's doing this thing. I'm gonna be doing mine. We feed off the energy. He go first. And last time I went first, we've been fighting together for all our life. So, this is it.
I know you expect him to win, obviously, but what are your thoughts on his fight against Derevyanchenko?
He got a tough fighter. Shorter fighter, my brother's strong. He's an ox. We Texas bred. Texas, the beef different. All our stuff is different, and we bigger. It's massive. We're strong. We're animals. We fast. It's different.
I might have taken that.
Okay, Brian, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Again, folks, Showtime pay-per-view. Make sure you can order the fight right now. This is going to be a historic, special, spectacular night. 6 fights, 5 of them world title fights, but all of them meaningful fights. Don't forget about the weigh-in, which comes your way on Friday. So we'll certainly see you Friday afternoon. And then Morning Combat, those guys will be there right in the middle of these fights. So you want to stay tuned because Brian and Luke will bring you everything. They review the first 3 fights, preview the last 3 fights. Morning Combat. Brian, Luke, you guys take it away.
Thank you very much. BC, I'm fired up for both halves of this, but to see the excitement and to hear it, especially in Jermell Charlo's voice there, calling this the Super Bowl sort of moment in his career.
Love that.
And saying, we're different. The beach's different down in Texas, according to Jermell.
The beach is apparently different in Texas. But so again, we go back to the chip on the shoulder. It's interesting, though. He sort of says it's an inner glow. I like the way he described it. They have tasted enough success at every interval of their career to enjoy what they've built, and yet to wonder, well, wait a second. How far up the ladder can we actually go? And so I think that's what he's talking about. Look at what we've built. Look at where we've come to. But now we have these other stages in front of us. Also, Jermell, a little bit chattier than Jamal here tonight. Or this afternoon, I should say. I don't know exactly what explains that. I don't know if it's a common thing.
There's always been a little bit of difference in the brothers' personas. Jamal a little bit calmer. Jermell a little bit more willing to tell it like it is. They say we're not emotional. They're certainly passionate. And they bring that in the ring. They bring that in front of the camera. But I like sort of the quiet, almost gangsta level persona there from Jason Rosario. Happy to be here. And doesn't seem to be putting a lot of pressure on his shoulders. Believes in himself to a very large degree. And is just very chill and suave about what's going to happen at stake. If it goes the distance, it does. But he's not playing for it.
Remember, we said it before we even got to the press conference. He's not supposed to be here. He is not supposed to be here. He knows he has not luck boxed his way into it, but found a way, clawed his way, climbed his way. And so now he also, I think, wants to enjoy it. And again, I think he's really at 25 years of age, I think roughly where he is, he's really beginning to believe that, wait a second, I didn't just stumble into this. I didn't accidentally find myself in a co-main event on a pay-per-view fighting for, main event I should say, fighting for essentially 3 titles up for grabs. This is not something they just hand out to people in boxing. And so he also, you're right, whenever you see the shades where there's no break in between, they go all the way across like an 80s visor, that's when you know they're feeling themselves. The swag was big. By the way, in the case of Rosario, the only boxing titleist from the Dominican Republic. There's a certain level of national pride we haven't even delved into as well.
And I asked him about that, what's the celebrity factor like? And he's like, that's not something I'm about. I'm about feeding my kids. I'm about staying humble. A little bit of swagger, though, on the stage. I like that.
Yep.
He had to walk through some bombs that Julian Williams landed, the J-Rock, the favored fighter, the guy that was supposed to have an easy night at the office to build for bigger things. I like Rosario's size. I like his attitude. Good God, I love both of these main events, Luke. They're going to bang. They're going to be action. This is going to be a fun night of fights, but it's not necessarily all about the Charlos or their opponents. These 4 undercard fights. 3 of them at 122 pounds. 1 of them at 118 pounds. We nailed the 3 of the 4 title bouts. The only one that's not, Payano and Danny Roman, are former champions. I like what I hear from Danny Roman. He might be one of the best kept secrets in boxing. Was a unified champion at 122. Lost that flip a coin fight. A great fight against Akhmadaliev that could have gone either way. It feels like he could be a sneaky player in this 122 scene. When we're talking about Stephen Fulton Jr., Angelo Leo, who just won a title, Brandon Figueroa, Luis Neri, who was just sitting on the stage, kind of like what Danny Roman's bringing to the table.
Yeah, I would argue he's a little bit ahead of the guys you named. If you look at most rankings, they've got Daniel, whatever you want to say, somewhere easily top 5, maybe even top 3, and a lot of this competition that you mentioned, not quite there, except for maybe inside of WBO or IBF or whatever the case may be. But independent of all of that, he's sort of one of these top guys. I actually love the answer he gave to the question. It's like, hey man, you've been in some wars. Like, are you going to adapt your style to not leave such a sacrifice on the altar of athletic greatness? And he was like, no,
Brian Campbell is the
that's
man,
how
though.
I fight. That's how I win. This is my identity.
Wrestling.
Yeah, I don't want it to go 10, 12 rounds if it doesn't have to, but if it does, we bite down on the mouthpiece, we turn the knuckles white, and we just let it go. And I was like, okay, he is not promising an easy fight for anybody. He's not going to outslick you on weights like, well, the point is to not take damage and to hand it out. He's like, damage seems to be a part of it. It is a willing trade, a Faustian deal almost to an extent that he has made. That should make you excited, and given his pedigree, as we just indicated, so you like both the approach and what he's done. And as interesting as this is what it was supposed to be for a title that is vacant because the guy who currently holds it has a broken leg, is going to be out for about a year or so, but it just allows some of these guys, depending who wins, to just fast forward, right? To almost skip the line in a way. But a guy like Roman, as you indicated, he's sort of proven he's the real deal.
Roman, a tough out, obviously. Payano, former champion, 36-year-old. Maybe this could be his last chance at the big time in the glory there.
I never know how to do the Spanish pronunciation right, and usually I'm the language police.
You're the guy who speaks Spanish.
I know, a little bit. I'm the language police, but I always feel a little weird doing it, so I just want to put that out there.
Okay, I'll do banana all day with you if you want to do that there.
Platano, the whole bit.
The whole idea of, we already talked about the Charlo brothers so competitive against each other. I'm looking to see which guy could potentially steal the show in the family. But of the undercard fighters, which one do you think is most poised that we're going to be talking about them the most come Sunday morning after what we see this weekend?
That's a great question. I've got my eye on ahead of time Figueroa, but I don't think that's the answer I'm going to give. I think that the Alameda fight with
Luis Neri,
to me, that's kind of the one I've got my eye on. He was up here, no selling his opponent. Just
stone cold.
Yeah, not on the level. He had the throat tattoos. That's when you start to pay attention a little bit. But in all seriousness, fair to say, pound for pound, one of the heaviest punchers in the sport.
Absolutely. Rising up. Look, he'd been a stud at 118.
Right.
Now he's campaigning at 122. The power has carried up with him. I like the beard, by the way. You're a beard aficionado.
Yeah, I am. And he's got that Amish beard, which the Amish beard in combat sports is like all business at all times. But in all seriousness, as they vacuum or whatever they're doing here right behind us, the point I would like to make is that he he just seems like he's got a different energy this week.
Yes.
The tape on him tells you that the fight. I mean, it's sort of weird. Like, you can be a power puncher at that level at 118 or 122 pounds. It's fairly rare. You see a lot of good technicians with decent, maybe even good power, not crippling power in the way that he has it. So for me, the game-changing, round-changing ability that he has in that way, I guess I've got my eye on him a little bit. Although, as we indicated, Figueroa, something of a rising, celebrated young figure in the sport. You can't lose sight of that as well. What about you?
You got to go Luis Neri as the guy who maybe has the brightest potential. Alameda said it himself. He's unbeaten, but this is a large step up, and we certainly don't want to, downgrade his chances of going in there and doing that. But Luis Neri, at 25 years old, the Mexican, the southpaw, that power is real, and that killer swagger is real to go in there. He's already filling reporters' notebooks this week, saying if he wins this vacant title against Alameda, which really announces himself as one of the cornerstone fighters at 122. He wants Brandon Figueroa. Now, look, Figueroa is going to have to get through Damian Vasquez first, a fight we need to break down as well. But again, I like when people are starting to already put it out there. I'm going to take care of business, and I'm going to move on and try to collect more belts.
It's interesting. You mentioned Damian Vasquez. We didn't even talk about what he set up there, where he was the only one with a potty mouth, by the way, which always sort of catches my attention.
This is cable pay-per-view. You can drop Fs all around.
Yeah, it's YouTube. What are you going to do? But here's my point. He was no-selling Figueroa.
Pussy ass bitch.
From pillar to post. And he comes into this fight, I should say, to me, in one of the more interesting positions. So he actually fought Payano, who was going to fight on the other card, and he got destroyed. It was not especially close, okay? Then he comes back and about.
Yo, I'm sorry. And hey, we don't have to listen to them. They're going to just go back and forth and shit. The press conference is over. Unless they're bringing in, boxers, then, So anyway, what's going on? Where do we start? I guess let's go look at the card. Let's go look at the card and break this shit down. Yo, I got hacked yesterday. Crazy. I came down to the desk and my mouse cursor was moving on the screen and it was crazy ass shit, man. 2-step verification your stuff. What? I don't know, man. I think that this UFC event is going. I think this UFC event is going regular time, that it would normally go on. But I think the Khabib is midday. Here, let's check that. Let's confirm that real quick and see when the ESPN was. Let's see when the card starts. Let's see here. I gotta fucking buy this shit too, man. You know what? I don't like. One thing I can't stand about ESPN Plus is that it go on your card. I miss the days when you're just able to charge that shit to your cable bill and pay for that shit later. Saturday, 10 Eastern. Oh no! Guess what, guys? Guess what? It's not competing with the pay-per-view. It's only competing with the pay-per-view if people are not going to want to buy 2 pay-per-views in one day. Yo, bros, I'm going to be busy and shit. I thought this pay-per-view came on at night. I'm going to be working fucking 15 hours straight. Oh, shit. This card started at 10 a.m. Eastern, yo. 10 a.m. on Saturday. 10 a.m. Eastern. That's the prelims and shit. Yo, I'm a little bit confused. And what I'm saying is I had my whole day planned out that I wasn't going to start working until 2 p.m. I'm going to have to be here at 9 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the morning. I know it's not your problem, but my whole weekend is just changed. Tough titty, said the kitty, but the milk's still good, Gonna make a lot of money, I guess. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about the card. Let's talk about the card and what these fights mean. So, you got to keep up. Because we're about to blow through this joint. All right. So, the main event. Now, let's just cut the bullshit, right? They're trying to sell this shit as it's 2 different cards for the price of one. But come on, it's one motherfucking card, all right? It's just that they got a half an hour intermission. But the thing is, as I said before, if you watched Canelo versus Kovalev, we had a fucking hour and a half intermission. And we've seen plenty of fights or cards where we had to wait like a whole half an hour or whatever for the main event to come on. So anyway, all right, here we go. So you got Rosario Charlo taking on Jason Rosario for the WBC, WBA, IBF, and the Ring Magazine title is on the line. The winner of that, in my theory, is going to go on to fight Erislandy Lara. I believe that Erislandy Lara is going to drop his title, and Erislandy Lara is going to fight the winner of Charlo versus Rosario. If they can't get Patrick Teixeira, Brian Castano. But Brian Castano was PBC. Brian Castano and Teixeira are having issues getting their fight done. It's supposed to happen in November because Castano can't get out of Argentina. Or is it Brazil? I forgot. But either way, it looks like now Lubin is the mandatory, but with Lubin doing his 150,000 buys, he's going to likely have to get some step aside money, maybe, you know, some shit like that. Like, I don't see Lubin fighting Charlo Rosario winner after. I don't see it. I don't see it. You know, he's still got some profile building to do. If you don't know, Lubin versus Goucher, Terrell Goucher, the Showtime event leading into a pay-per-view, a week before pay-per-view, peaked at what, like 150,000 viewers? You know how fucking crazy, outrageous that 150,000? I did that this weekend alone from accumulation of videos on my channel. Crazy. So I think that Lara's going to drop his belt because Lara's mandatory is Israel Madrimov. I was on that Zoom call with Madrimov, had a little chat with his manager, I think the dude was, his manager, and basically they don't know what the fuck the WBA is doing. So they believe that they're going to be the mandatory for Rosario Charlo versus Jason Rosario. But if you don't know, and I said you got to follow me, I'm running through a lot of news right here. When you're a WBA super champion, you don't have a mandatory unless the WBA designates it to be. All right? So his mandatory is Lara. So Lara, when the WBA orders that fight, I believe Lara's going to drop the belt. You know, and Israel Madrimov is probably going to fight fucking Sora with some shit. And that's what's going on with, you know, that fight. By the way, Tim Tszyu is supposed to be taking on Dennis Hogan later on this year. They're in like deep talks in Australia somewhere. And Dennis, and if you don't know, Dennis Hogan is a PBC fighter. So what happened was, the rumor is, and it's pretty much confirmed, that he signed a 3-fight deal. Like, it was the Charlo fight, and then it's supposed to be a winnable fight, and then, like, you know, like another title fight or whatever. I don't know. Some shit like that. But with Tim Tszyu in the mix, they like, hold up, that might be easy money for us because Tim Tszyu might not be ready. You see what I'm saying? So, all right, moving on. You're going to have Danny Roman in his last fight. He lost. He was unified, right? Against Marjan, forgot to pronounce this dude, Akhmadaliev. There you go. And I don't think that he won that fight. I did a video on that. Remember, he was Matchroom The Zone. And, of course, now I'm guessing his contract ran out with Matchroom in The Zone, and he decided not to sign back. Because I can't believe that Eddie Hearn would just let him go. So I'm guessing the money is better on the PBC side. You know, because he had just lost his titles and he was unified. And then it's like now he's fighting Juan Carlos Payano over on PBC. If you don't remember Payano got sparked out by the monster Noye. That was in the World Boxing Super Series, wasn't it? Then got sparked out. Didn't Neri punch him in the stomach? I think that was the stomach shot. Neri is also in the card. So basically, a solid fight for, put it this way, this fight right here can lead a Fox on FS1. It could have possibly even led a PBC on Fox. So it's not a great fight, but it's a solid fight. And didn't Payano beat Rashid Warren, right? Same motherfucker. Yeah, I remember that. And some of them reading up. Yeah, I remember, dude. See, even though I cover all these fights, I be forgetting. My memory is shot. So you'll hear me a lot of times. Like, I'll have covered these fights, but I'll forget. Brandon Figueroa. The big issue I have with Brandon Figueroa is he fights just like Omar Figueroa, his brother. So which means if he meets a boxer or if he can't bully whoever he's fighting, like, he gonna lose. I'm not being like, his style, he gonna lose. You know? Like, it's no real, like it doesn't come across as skillful. It's just like, I'm just going to try to outwill you. And all you guys talking about, like, the Figueroa sister, what's her name? Omara, I think. Omaria. My issue was that, you know, it's hard. Like, she looks like Omar. So it's like, if I didn't know who Omar was, then maybe I would be like, damn, she fine in the motherfucker. But when I see her, I see Omar. You dig me? So let's just leave that alone. All right? Moving on. He is taking on... Damn, I forgot. I don't know who this man is. I probably covered him before, too. Let me see. He fought Piano. Oh, this is a carousel. Everybody beating up on Piano. He fought Piano, too. Well, he lost to Piano. So you're not really thrilled about this fight. This Brandon Figueroa versus Damian Vasquez. This would be a fight where I'm probably like getting some snacks or some shit. You have John Riel Casimero, who was supposed to fight the monster Inoue, but they decided to go another route, both fighters, because basically there's not enough money in it, you know, without a crowd. Remember, he came on the scene. I believe I covered this fight. Ruin Wrong, how you pronounce his name? And then this was considered an upset, but a lot of people kind of was like, I don't know, he might beat Tite. And he beat him. And now he's fighting this Duke Micah guy who was talking big money shit at the press conference. He's undefeated. This could be the babyface Terminator. Ooh, look at that. This could be one of those sleeper type fights. This could be one of them joints. Casimero versus Duke Micah. I'm going to be playing close attention. And plus the Filipinos are very kind to me with the views on the channel. So we're going, them seeing. But he better not get beat up. Meaning Casimero, because we're going to talk about him. Like, yo, he got beat the fuck up in there, y'all. I know y'all going to be mad, Filipinos, but yo, he got beat the fuck up. Fuck y'all want me to do? Luis Nery, is he going to make weight? How many fights has it been? Has it been like 3 straight or 2 straight? You going to make weight, bro? I don't trust him. What weight is this fight supposed to be at? He better be at 122. Oh, this guy's undefeated too. We got some we got some undefeated fighters on this card. I don't know, yo. What if this turns out to be the card of the millennium? Like the best fightings that you could possibly ever see. I don't know if he's going to make weight. I can't trust him. I want to trust you, Luis Nery, but I can't. I can't trust you, bro. If I was a gambling man, then I couldn't trust him. He wouldn't make weight. All right, now this fight right here is going to be interesting. Here, let's go back. Let me show y'all real quick. I don't know what he was on right here. But this fight right here is going to be interesting. Because, you know, he's listed at 5'9". Y'all really think he 5'9"? Here, let's go recap this a little bit. It's only a couple minutes. Y'all think Derevyanchenko really 5'9"?
Once again, why you will?
Because I want belt. I want belt green. And you know what? The green color of the belt suit me.
Ooh. Well, he says green fits him. In other words, he's walking home victorious.
The green belt suits
Your response to that? And what do you think the world will be saying about the Charlo twins after watching both of you fight come Saturday night?
This is just the beginning. 30 of them tried, 30 of them failed. We'll get a chance to get in there and do what we got to do on Saturday. Talk is cheap. rich mind frame. We'll see where the green belt go.
Sergey, I'll give you the last word here. He says 30 have tried to beat him. None of them has succeeded. Tell us again why you will.
Because I want belt green, and I'm 2-time fight for belt, and now is took my 5, and I want win. I'm ready.
That will be the okay. Let me say this. That's it. That is it. I am going with Derevyanchenko. I'm Team Sergey. He gonna fuck Jermall Charlo up. Yeah, they gonna be mad at me, but they already, the Charlos hate my guts. So you can't double hate somebody's guts, can you? I'm Team Sergey Derevyanchenko. Let's get to the face-off. I want y'all to see how little he look, yo. Like, he just got like this compact body with these long arms, and basically his torso, all that shit just looks small. How little he look, yo. Look. It's all legs and arms.
Luke, we've seen the main event participants stand up. Jermall Charlo, Sergey Derevyanchenko, the WBC middleweight title at stake. How about that stone cold look from Jermall out there?
You know what's amazing? He's got a bit of a, and let me explain this very quickly but clearly. He's got a bit of a victim complex, but not in the kind of woe is me way. The kind of I'm going to show you who I am kind of way, which is the best kind actually to have.
Look, he like
Derevyanchenko, you know, it's hard to trash talk in a second language, and he does all his talking in the ring anyway. I got to say though, and I know it's protocol, you got to do it. The commission makes you do it. Face-offs in a COVID era.
Don't tell Charlo's on me, y'all.
Quite the same.
Yuniel Charlo, the WBC champion at 154 pounds.
Don't tell him.
There's the unified champion, Jason Rosario.
Please don't tell him I said that. Yo, I don't want no more problems, yo. Please. Let's see what he listed at. Charlo's listed at what? 6 foot? Yo, don't tell the Charlos. I'm not even joking. I don't want no more problems, man. It was all these Texas people. Like, them Texas motherfuckers, they was pissed. They was looking at me like, you ain't right, nigga. You's a dumb nigga. Nigga was pissed. Nigga was pissed. I thought I was going to have to shoot my way out. You know? So, yeah, I'm thinking about doing another stream later on tonight, or probably likely tomorrow, because we still got to talk about the other fights of the week. Like, for example, you got motherfucking Chavez Jr. fighting this week. You got here, let me pull up the little schedule right here. Let me tell you how many fights we got this week. Just boxing fights. I'm still tripping out over this shit right here. You got both the Chavezes, like, fighting on the same card. Chavez Sr. fighting, bro. Yeah, it's an exhibition. But what the fuck? Chavez Sr.'s fighting. Is this... Oh, I was going to say Juan Luis Castillo. I'm like, what the fuck they pull him from? This is Juan Luis Castillo Romero. I don't know that man. Then you got Josh Taylor versus Apinun Khongsong. I watched that little media shindig earlier. Charlie Edwards up on that joint. David Oliver Joyce, he on the channel. I got to hit up Mikey. I've been fucking bullshitting. And then you got this card we just talked about. This stacked card, top to bottom. Wait a minute. Did the Mario Barrios fight get scrapped? Is Mario Barrios still on this card? He's not on here no more, right? He's not on here no more, right? Yeah, that motherfucker fighting, bro. And then you got the World Boxing Super Series final with Yuniel Dorticos versus Mairis Briedis. This is a significant fight right here, and it's about time it's happening. You also have, it's not listed here, but Tony Yoka is supposed to be fighting Johan Duhaupas. And then tonight you got some fights on Fox Sports 1. 3 little fights. Busy weekend. And then UFC. Yo, stop. Yes, it is worth $75. Is it not worth $75? Are you saying it's not worth $75 in this economy or in this global pandemic landscape? Or are you saying it's just like, nah, that shit's not worth? Like, I'm kind of confused, sir. They can't, once they're not going to make no pay-per-view cheaper. Because then they give the fans the option of saying, like, oh, well, y'all made this one cheaper. Y'all should make this one. No, they ain't going to do that. Once a pay-per-view is 75, it's 75. So they should make it 50. But then I'm thinking, like, if I didn't have to buy it because of this shit right here, like my job, would I buy it as a fan and be like, oh, shit, they fighting who? Oh, I think I would. And then would I clamor to buy it and be like, oh, shit, I'm making sure. Like, put it this way. Would I turn down some pussy for this call? Like, would you turn down I don't think anybody would turn down new pussy for boxing. I have, though, before. Wait, let's change the subject. Maybe we're not going to use that analogy. All right? What I'm saying is, like, if it wasn't a pandemic, would you be like, oh, that Charlo pay-per-view on the night? Oh, shit, let me go to the market, get some food. We're going to have a little fight party. Like, is this that type of pay-per-view that it brings people together? That casual fans, like, oh, yeah, those Lion Fighter twins. Or you know how women can be sometimes. What's the Lion Fighter twins? They fighting this weekend? You don't get that buzz. Like, do you feel like that buzz? You know? I don't feel it with this card. I don't feel it. I'm going with Costa by knockout. Costa, right? I don't feel it. You know? I don't feel like this has like the casual, like, yeah, we gotta, like, you know. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be an action-packed card, I believe. Like, put it this way, I understand why it's a pay-per-view card. You see what I'm saying? All these fighters command money, and it can't be like, it can't be a regular TV fight. There's budgets and shit. So they're like, listen, charge people $75. Y'all got to sell that shit yourselves. You know? Well, yeah. The Zone's business model, though. Yeah, man, is this? Yeah. I've always said, though, the Zone is like 2-3 years too early, you know, into the game. You know, and they came in too aggressive and had people looking like, yo, you need to calm down. Won't give them a fuck how much money y'all got. You think this does 200,000 to 200K? I'm thinking 150 to 200. And that's like being generous as fuck, bro. Because you know why? Because when I'm checking on social media and everything, everybody's talking about illegally streaming this shit. It's like rampant. And the demographic that they want to buy the pay-per-view are 18 to 34. 18 to 34-year-old men know how to fucking stream. You see what I'm saying? So the pay-per-view buys are going to come from people like me, boxing media, old school hardcore fans, you know, like the ones that want to just sit in their chair in their house. You know, like, oh, I'm gonna watch this fight on. You know, the boxing purist. But like casuals and shit, or like just somebody to say like, no, I'm in the crib tonight. They'll be fucking legally streaming it on their fucking phone or their laptop or their computer and playing motherfucking Call of Duty or Madden or fucking FIFA or some shit. Like the demographic that they want knows how to get this shit for free. Like, you know? Why do you think you always see, you know, when a Conor McGregor fights and, you know, like big fights, you see streams popping up all over the place? Like, even on Facebook and shit, you'll see just 10,000, boom, right here, like, watching this shit. Like, it's crazy. I don't think people talk like this with his PBC. People people took big-ass shits on Crawford versus Khan, even Crawford versus Postol. But I think PBC gets shit because it's a lot of pay-per-views. But no, I understand it, but like, put it this way. These fighters, they've always followed the Mayweather model. Al Heyman is like, I'm going to build you up, get you the pay-per-view, then you're going to stay there. These fighters have matured. Did you notice all the main Al Heyman guys, his beginning major crop of guys, like, you know, when he finally hit his stride, they all got their pay-per-views. Fucking Keith Thurman, Adrian Broner, Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia was new, but he got one. Who else? The Charlos are getting there. Deontay Wilder's got his. Fucking Luis Ortiz got one. Who else? Leo Santa Cruz is getting his. Tank Davis is getting his. Danny Garcia's getting his. You see what I'm saying? All those guys he's been building up for years. He's been building them up to be on pay-per-view like it is now. You know, except my understanding is he was building them to be on free TV. But the thing is, the money and the sponsors didn't come, so he had to take them to pay-per-view. Like, he been building them to be like this for years. So I understand the business behind it. To have both Charlos who both make $1 million against top quality competition, those guys got to make money too. You can't put that on Fox. Fox not going to put the money into it. Fox going to be like, no, put that shit on pay-per-view. Like, you know. I didn't really think that Teddy Atlas was shitting on boxing. I mean, it was a little bit like, I mean, you could sense his frustration, but I didn't really think that he was shitting on boxing. I didn't take it like that. Weapons just don't crack 100,000 buys. It's possible, though. It is possible that it won't. Listen, think about it like this. I hope that all of you in the chat are doing well. That you know you're not struggling to pay your bills. Even if you are, that you know you got a roof over your head. Even the fact that you even have the option to stream or not. Think about it like this. There are people that you're walking by every single day that you don't know they're struggling bad. They don't know when they're fucking nothing's going to get paid. They probably like barely paying their cable bill, if that. They probably got rid of cable. Like, people are struggling. Like, just because we saying like, oh, I might buy it, I might not. There is, like, we're in a global pandemic. You know, I had to have a talk with like my girl and my mom, like, let them know, like, just because we all right, we have to understand, like, the world is fucked up. You go to the malls, they're empty. People don't have no money. Like, people don't be having no money, you know? So that's what I'm thinking. Like, we're in a pandemic. You know? It's just not there, man. Like, it's not the fight. Like, it's even worse because we're in a pandemic. Like, I think if we weren't in a pandemic, this pay-per-view would do a lot better than it's projected to do, you know? I'm interested to see the numbers or hear the numbers. And remember, the first number isn't always right. You know, if for those who've been watching and following boxing and numbers for years, you should know the first number is not always right, but that's the ballpark. You know, it's like that number that people stick with don't usually come out until, like, in fact, that's what we have the fucking shit for. Let's go look at the pay-per-view buys over the last One thing I like about Wikipedia is they take all the sources and put them on. Let me show you what I mean. But yeah, I ain't gonna never shit on a pay-per-view because I make money off of pay-per-views. Usually when a pay-per-view happens, I make more money because it's like more buzz toward it. You know, I get bigger numbers. So, like, common sense is, like, I'm not gonna shit on a pay-per-view. I gotta buy them. Like, it's my job. But however, I will say, oh shit, motherfucking Crawford Khan, I'm not gonna recoup my money from that shit. Like, all the promotion I'm putting in and all that. Here, this is something I'm looking for right here. I'll show you exactly where I'm going with this. Now, this means something. We gotta zoom in though. Damn it, did I lose it? Here we go. So, can y'all see this? Wilder Fury 2. Let's zoom in some more. There we go. Wilder Fury 2 did 1.2 million buys. They were just going by American buys. Don't count. We're not looking at these Sky Sports because, you know, their pay-per-views are like fucking $30. Golovkin was the last, like, you know, it cracked 1.1. Where is it at? They don't have it on here. I was looking for Crawford Khan. So where's the Spence stuff? I could have sworn they had him on here all before. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Is it here? I done fucked up. I could have sworn they all had him on here before. Am I tripping? United States pay-per-view. There we go. All right, here we go. I think we're here now. My bad, guys. My bad. Okay, here we go. So here's some good numbers to go by when you're thinking about saying that, this pay-per-view with the Charlos is going to do 200,000 buys. So remember, Wilder versus Ortiz 275 plus minus. Spence Sean Porter 350 plus minus. Manny Pacquiao 500K with Errol Spence. Crawford Khan 150. Spence Mikey Garcia 375. Pacquiao Broner. Wilder Fury 1 did 325. Ward Kovalev did 130. I remember that. Shit. That was disgusting. Ward Kovalev 2. And Ward Kovalev 2 had like one of the best build-ups when the press conferences and shit. It was really like heated. 1 point. So here's the thing, right? It wasn't no pandemic during this time. You see what I'm saying? Crawford Kovalev. Pacquiao Jesse Vargas 300. Ew, look at this shit right here. Y'all see that shit? Crawford fucking Victor Postol 50,000 buys, 55,000. Bro, ew. Golovkin David Lemieux. So let's think about it, right? We're in a pandemic. I think that if it wasn't a pandemic, this pay-per-view would do 200,000 buys. I'm thinking between 100 and like 200. I ain't gonna lie. And then looking at like the little eyes that were on the Lubin versus Goucher fight, which did around 150,000 viewers. It's like, yo, Charlo's doing 300,000 would be a fucking crazy super success. Spence Porter did do 350. No, I don't see it, man. I don't see it, guys. I don't see it. I'm thinking some shit like 125. See, here's the thing. Will it do better than Crawford versus Khan? It's a way better card than that. Shit. But we're in a pandemic. 200. See, we got to think what's decent. Like, it's decent. What's decent to them? That's what I'm saying. We may look at the numbers and be like put it this way: 100,000 could be a success to them. We don't know. I don't think it would, but I'm pretty much sure. Like, it's. I would think that they probably like, I don't know. We don't know what their numbers is. 200,000 could be like the number they're going for. On the low end. And technology has gotten better. We're going to see, though. We're going to see now. Luckily, in this day and age, the numbers are going to be out by like Tuesday. Yeah, this is Wikipedia. And don't start that shit about like, oh, well, you trust Wikipedia, that should be. No. What I've and I use, why I use this is because they take all the different sources, like of all the media people that report the numbers, and they give their rent and they put it on here. So don't try to motherfucking play me, C-Dub, if that's what you were doing, bro. Like, oh, but that shit can probably, because it's Wikipedia. Just like the same motherfuckers who look up Forbes and they say Al Heyman net worth like 15 million. Fuck out of here. That motherfucking man a billionaire. Look up Live Nation. Shit like that. Like, he is Young Money, Cash Money. It's crazy. But yeah, so yeah, that's a good, like, they like this right here, like these are, accurate-ish numbers, plus minus. Like these are the ballpark figures of what these pay-per-views did, Yeah, you can, like, yo, I told you I got an app on my phone, bro. You get everything for free. Like I don't think these promoters and these managers from Bob Arum to Al Heyman and maybe Eddie Hearn maybe understand because he's younger, but I don't think they get it. Like you got to put on fights where it's like, okay, no, I have to watch this, I have to pay for it. Like UFC do, they make sure like if they're going to but then again they put out a pay-per-view every month and some of them joints be shit, and I don't like it having to pay for them shits every month. Yeah, 200,000 for them on that first pay-per-view. Yes, like I said, we don't know what their success is going to be, like what their number is for success. Yeah, they do. Yeah. Oh, see, all right. See, I was gonna cuss you out. See, does. Yeah, they do. They be like, oh, well, yeah, they do. They do be on that shit. But in this case of these numbers, you can use this. And if you ever want to look at like refresh your mind on pay-per-view numbers, go here. They have all of it, even the UK shit. They go all the way back to every pay-per-view. Fucking Roy Jones shits and everything. Like Mayweather versus Zab Judah, 375,000, shit like that. Crazy. But yeah, man. Wonder what's for lunch. I'm supposed to get like I'm gonna make a big piece of salmon. I'm gonna get like the big and I'm gonna just eat that all weekend. Go to the gym in about an hour. So remember, this weekend we're gonna be here for the post-fight press conference. And I'm covering a lot of fights this weekend, y'all, like some career high type shit. So I'm gonna say by Monday I'm gonna have about 30 videos out on the channel. It's like, but we're gonna get it done. Ain't no need bitching and complaining, right? I've been chilling all summer, so get my ass to work. But numbers and everything are up on the channel, especially with my UFC coverage. Like shit is really doing good. Here, you know what we're gonna do while we're here? Let's check in. It's not that long. It's probably like 8 minutes long. Let's head over to BT Sport Boxing and check this out while I'm here. While we're here. And something else, I hope it's no. Let me check my email, man, because there's always some media events going on. Here, this is not that long. It's 9 minutes, but we're going to like skim through it. Let me go see if there's any other media events going on. So yeah, I'm going to be covering this. BT Sport always got sound issues, bro. It's been like a whole year straight. Oh, no, that's me. My sound was down. My bad.
From 7:30.
Yep, there it is. Look, who is their sound guy?
On BT Sport. I'm Adam Cattrall. It's a pleasure to be in your company. You're going to hear from these four fantastic athletes very, very shortly. But first of all, I've got to give you a little bit of a heads up as to some of the action that is going down. We've got Commonwealth gold medalist in action in Ethan James. He's going to be starting the broadcast off at around about 7:30, taking on Chris Pilkington. So make sure you come and join us for that. It's a 4-rounder in the super lightweight division. Following him, George Davey will be up again in the 4-rounder, this time in the super welterweight division, taking on Jed Thomas. And then we've got a cracker for a European title. The WBO European bantamweight title is going to be on the line. We've got Davey Oliver Joyce taking on Inonit Baluta. It's a 10-rounder and should be an absolute cracker. And then on to...
So, yeah, let me give you the schedule. So, 10 a.m. Eastern is UFC 253. Remember, they're in Abu Dhabi. So, it's not, as I thought it was, but it's not competing with the Charlo pay-per-view. Around, I'm just going to say this, between 3 and 5 p.m., you're going to have these two cards right here, these two main events. Josh Taylor fighting his IBF mandatory, Apinun Khongsong. You got Charlie Edwards on that card, too. You got Mairis Briedis in the World Boxing Super Series, taking on Yuniel Dorticos. And then after that card's over, you go right into the Charlo's card, which is going to open up with a big fight like Louis Neri or some shit like that. Like, there's no like bullshit prelims. Like, they're going right into like the big fights. It's crazy. And then Friday night, you got Chavez Sr. and Chavez Jr. fighting on the same card. Thanks, Fernando Carlos. Damn, 2 first names, huh? Fast forward. I want to hear what Khongsong sound like. They always got shit sound. How are they in like a studio? They always got shit sound. BT, bro.
As a huge following, tens of thousands of people normally turn up for his fights. Does it make it slightly easier for you coming into
that Men's Warehouse ass suit Khongsong got on? No disrespect. Wait a minute, UFC is at night? Am I tripping? Let's worry about that shit later. Bro, I'm not watching this shit. Yo, BT, yo, they gotta get their shit together. They've been having sound issues like this for a whole year, bros. A whole year. Plus, like, whoever is their sound guy, he gotta go. Like, I'm you know, not watching that shit. And it's lunchtime too. Anyway, let's talk for a little bit. Damn, so it is at night? I'm so confused. 10 p.m. I'm gonna need a nap. How did I like? But look, let me show y'all. It say right here though. Look, so am I tripping? Let me show y'all. I'm not tripping. Look, this is ESPN Plus. Look. This is ESPN Plus. I'm not tripping, dog. Look, why does it say Saturday 10 a.m. Eastern? Oh, it says 10 Eastern, not 10 a.m. God damn it. Oh, my bad. I thought it said 10 a.m. Eastern. It just, yeah, all right, my bad. It is 10 p.m. Eastern. See, it's my fault. It's my fault. So, yeah, this pay-per-view is going to stump a mud hole in the Charlo's pay-per-view's asshole. Like, big time. Damn. Oh, well, then I get the day off then. All right, cool. I don't have to be up at fucking 9 a.m. in the morning. All right. That's what's up. Well, I'm glad we figured that out. So this is what I got you guys, man. I'll be looking out. So this is what we're going to do. Tomorrow is going to be the Chavez Jr. and Senior weigh-in. I think I'm going to find that and cover that because it's going to be hilarious. And then Friday we're going to be here Friday for the weigh-in stream for the Charlos. Likely, probably one of them Louis Neary probably going to miss some weight. So we're definitely going to be streaming on Friday, and then Saturday you already know how I'm getting down. Just videos and videos and videos. I kind of wanted this. The problem I'm having now is now I got to cover UFC and the Charlo pay-per-view at the same time. So that's whack. That's going to be an issue because I got to pick and choose what fights I'm going to cover then and what fights I'm going to cover Sunday, like early Sunday morning. Well, we're going to figure it out. All right, guys, I'm getting up out of here, man. Go get some lunch, take a nap, watch my little documentaries. I'm watching The Vow. It's about like this cult where he was getting like his initials. He was having the chicks brand his initials on their pussies. Like, bro,